are so excited to talk to you today because we love talking to inspirational people that do really, really cool things. And you're doing it right now. In fact, we just saw the Burning Man stuff that she does. Oh my goodness.
Anytime anyone says, "Hey, do you want to fly on a crane or a piece of heavy machinery?" I'm like, I will take that offer. I will take that offer.
It could be worse, right? There are worse things to do.
Oh, you mean like the weather, that sort of
Oh,
thing.
oh my gosh, yeah.
It's like the most beautiful, incredible place where weather does not operate in the same way there that it does everywhere else. So you really are at the mercy of what the playa gives you for that day. And actually beautiful things come from that as well. So there's always a silver lining.
That's true, but a little bit dangerous though if the weather doesn't cooperate, right?
You have to be prepared. That's case in point, like going to Burning Man's not like going to Coachella. You have to be prepared. You have to do your due diligence, and there's always going to be someone to help, though. That's the beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
Absolutely. Well, you truly have a gift, and I know this is something that you've had for since an early age. When did you first realize that your life was going to go down this path?
Um, I would say a year or two ago, I just looked back and thought to myself, how did I end up here? But how does this check out so perfectly, right? It makes a lot of sense looking back. I started ballet, competition dance, and gymnastics all at the same time when I was a very young child. So my mom was driving me all over the place, right? 3 years old, was in ballet. I did competition dance and gymnastics and ballet until I was 7. And eventually she was like, I can't do this anymore. And left me in ballet, which was my least favorite of the three because I just love to perform. I love to perform. I love to do crazy stuff. Flipping obviously was something that I loved and wanted to do. But I am so grateful that she left me in ballet because that ballet foundation is really, and I think a lot of dancers talk about this, where it teaches you this unbelievable discipline, this foundation of growth as a person and the ability to hold yourself with grace through really trying, like physically extremely trying skills. Yes, I couldn't be more blessed. So as I got older and I met my husband in ballet school, we
Yes.
actually ended up moving to New York City and we started street performing. And through that, met a couple of aerialists. And they were like, why don't you just come to this circuit? We were like, sure, like let's try a couple things for fun, and obviously fell in love with it. And I think I found myself in the circus, or I may be the circus at this point.
Yeah. Or Cirque du Soleil, right?
A little bit with them, they're great. It's just the circus world is so big and so small at the same time, and it's a beautiful community with so many different aspects and different niches, and I love every moment of it.
No, that's good. Well, being on a stage or being in front of people is one thing, but being in front of millions of eyeballs on TV is a whole nother thing. It was talk about that experience because that had to have been pretty interesting.
Absolutely. So my bottle walking act, that was actually on America's Got Talent. That was the first time that I did it entirely solo with no one on stage, because ordinarily it would be me and my husband, and it would be a part of this whole act where I would stand on his shoulders and be on point, and he would throw me around and catch me, and at this end we would do this my champagne walk, and that performance was so eye-opening for me because I realized how how challenging it was to get out of that mental confine of I don't have a safety. I'm doing this at not only by myself on stage, no line, no nothing. I'm at the highest elevation I ever have attempted.
Mhm.
And I think to break through that mental block of being like, I am doing something so high level, so dangerous, I I dedicated every moment of every day, like leading up towards that for like over a month. Like I ate, slept, like everything was to make this as good as it possibly could be. And it's amazing what has happened over the last year since being on America's Got Talent. I have gotten to travel the world with this act that, I've been performing it for a very long time, but this was the first time that I really got to show the world.
Yeah. Yeah, which is amazing because a feat that could go very, very wrong, right? And I'm sure it has in practice, right?
Absolutely. Oh, yes, it has. And when things go wrong, they really go wrong. I remember one performance. I had been performing somewhere else, and it had just been a long day. And this was when I realized, like, I have to make sure my ankles don't get swollen, because if they get swollen, I can't point my foot as much as I would think that, right? So there was one night, it was a later performance, and I get to the end of the act, and things just feel off. Do the first bottle, okay. Second bottle, and third, my foot was just not, it wasn't up and down. It was like this, but I was pressing it as far as I could. And the trajectory of my toes just pushed all of the bottles back. I
Oh,
I flung
no.
onto the platform, and there's no saving that, right? But
Yeah.
the audience got to see how hard and how like minute a difference that made. And then everyone was silent for a good couple of seconds. And then just, they were like, you know what?
Yeah.
That happened. Girl, go. So, yeah, every time I have a really, really good performance, it just feels that much better because no one knows.
Yeah. That's true. Wow. And, the thing is, like a lot of people look up to what you do, and you've got a bigger audience is growing and growing. What kind of advice would you give to those little girls that are watching you going, see, I want to do this too?
Absolutely. I think like the most important thing that you can do for yourself as an artist and as someone who's like, this is going to be my life. This is what I want to do. I want to make a name for myself and be this unique individual person. You have to find the things that bring you joy, and they might not fit within the confines. Any ballet dancer can tell you, oh, you're going to go up and you're going to get get to the point where you're at the level where you audition for ballet companies and they put you into an apprentice role, and then like you'll be in the corps and then you move up to soloist apprentice. Things often don't work out like that. But if you want to keep going, like the point is to figure out what's right for you. And oftentimes it might actually not be the thing that you were like, oh yeah, I'm for sure gonna, like, I didn't wake up and go, I want to be known as the girl who walks on champagne bottles on point. Like that's, I have a greater purpose than that as well. But it brought other people joy. It brought me joy. And I made something new out of something that just, you know, didn't exist in that capacity, right?
Yeah.
Um, Follow your joy. Follow.
Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful. Well, I think you might have already touched on it, but you never know. So, my co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys, caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And this is the 50th anniversary of the Hail Mary. And so we love asking people their Hail Mary moment, the moment in your life or career you just kind of had to go for it and it worked out for you. But it sounds like you've had a few.
I have had a few. I would say my Hail Mary moment was getting to go on. So I went on Das Super Talent, which is a German television show. And they said to me, Ashley, what are you going to do for your finals? Like, do you have a video? I was like, no. You're going to give me this platform. You're going to give me that platform. I want fire here. I want an explosion here. The rehearsal, I only had one rehearsal. I made this in one rehearsal. And then the next day I performed it. The rehearsal went so bad. So bad. Everyone is sitting there like, do we
Oh,
let her do this? Right. And in the back of my head, I go, perfect, perfect. Because now I've just figured out all of these things that can go wrong, right? And experienced that. And the next day, everyone kind of knew to just be like, oh, just, Ashley, leave her alone. And I do this thing. I mean, like, I think a lot of really high level, like Olympians, athletes, you have to get into a headspace, right? And I'll never forget this quote from actually like King of the Hill, the cartoon, where the coach goes, visualize the action and actualize the vision. And if
mhm,
you can just close your eyes and envision everything going perfectly and feeling, okay, at what moment am I feeling this? At what moment am I feeling this? That was the first time I truly locked in. And I think it's given me the delusional belief that, like, okay, if I just lock in, I can throw these Hail Marys. I can like take these bigger and bigger risks because I've put in hours, I've put in the work, and I can see it happening. And if you can see it happening for yourself, there's nothing stopping you but you.
yeah, I love that. Well said. And part of that is that success mindset. And we talk about that on the show. And whether or not you're feeling it or not, us artistic types, we're very hard on ourselves. And athletes are as well. So what do you keep in mind that kind of keeps you on the right path? Is there something you say to yourself, or is there just some kind of life thing that you keep in mind?
When things get hard,
Mhm.
I think about something that my artistic director of my ballet school would say to all of us. And it's just like the most wise one-liner of all time. And it is, this is the life you have chosen. So if things are going bad, you have to choose. How are you going to react? And how are you going to be like, oh, this is terrible. I'm going to throw in the towel. I'm going to give up. I'm just going to like, this isn't for me. Like, oh, this rejection. Or are you going to be like, amazing. I just got rejected. Or that just went super poorly. I get to
Mhm.
have a comeback. I get to do something better. I was meant for something better. And just having that in the back of my mind where it's like I can always shift it into a positive mindset, no matter how tough, no matter how sometimes ridiculous. Sometimes it's just like, oh, really? Really that happened? And you have to laugh and be like, okay, all
Mhm.
right, let's go. What's the next thing? And just don't don't give up on yourself.
Yeah, I love that. That's wonderful. The thing is that you've been able to parlay a lot of this. Like you've seen some great images, like in the subway of you, and then now, of course, you're getting the attention of the Victoria's Secrets. Who, we'll throw that out. Yeah, right. So you can use your social media right in this whole world to go even further, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, let me have some fun while I have a little bit of a break. I now can like talk about things like where, okay, this month I'm currently, as you can see, very quaint, in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. This is the fourth and final year of a production that I have co-produced with our amazing friend PJ at Old Sturbridge Village. And if you don't know what that is, it is a incredible museum experience where it recreates the 1830s. So this Saturday, actually, I have a brand new YouTube episode. If anyone's curious what happens at Ulster Bridge Village, this is a perfect example of that. And they've been so incredible and so kind, and I'm grateful to have been able to do this production for the last 4 years because ordinarily, it's only a couple of years that they will have a program. And last year, we had gone somehow we were nominated for something out of like best Halloween experiences in all of New England, right? So like Salem, Massachusetts is on there.
Wow,
Like the whole town, right? We beat out Salem, Massachusetts, like we won.
that's
So like
amazing.
it's great to have this like return to this. We have that this weekend. The next week I my audition performance ends up is words. is being released for France's for La France a un incroyable talent. France
Mm,
has got talent.
yeah.
Um, so that comes out next week. So just, I have thrown in some just other fun things where I think personally I'm embracing the fact that the things that brings me the most joy are things that like me as a 6-year-old, me as a 10-year-old, were like, I loved that. That was beautiful. That's incredible. And the fashion show, like that has been something that is just stuck in my mind from a very young, like I never saw any fashion show. That was the one that I ever that was televised, right? Um, and it's so kind of aligned with like things that I do. And I was like, you know what? This would be fun. This would be fun. My personal favorite one lately has been the Lorax one. That one
Yeah.
that one was funny. But I'm just, having a blast and trying to live every moment of life like through that lens. Like what would 6-year-old me look up to me doing, being like, yeah, girl, go for it.
That's amazing. I love that. And so, well, we might as well throw it out there then. What else do you have either coming up or that you want to do that we just need to throw out there in the world?
I have really big things in store.
Good.
And I'm one that's kind of like, like it's, until things are like fully fleshed out and ready for me to be like, heck yes,
Mhm.
here it is. Um, I think you'll be seeing a lot more of me.
I love that. That's amazing. Oh, good. For now, tell everybody where they can see everything right now and tell us where we can check out this thing this weekend because this sounds great. It's
Yeah,
spooky.
absolutely. So we'll be performing Phantoms by Firelight, Circus Vampire in Old Sturbridge Village, which is about it's I would say a half an hour. I think it might be a little bit
Mhm.
more, but in Sturbridge, Massachusetts, very close to Boston. And that will be every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all the way through. It won't be the Halloween weekend. So these 3 weekends. And then you can catch me all the time on my social media. My Instagram is at Ashley Rose Montague, TikTok at Ashley Montague, YouTube at Ashley Montague, and I also have a Facebook page. And it's just never short of absolute nonsense. So I think you'll be thoroughly entertained.
Hey, we love absolute nonsense, but we also love everything that you've accomplished, and we're so happy to talk to you and want to tell everybody to follow along with your adventure. It's never boring, and you're always got something great to say. So we appreciate the time and the great answers. Look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.